guys, how are you doing today? Welcome back to Random Lifestyle Vlog. If you're new here, my name is Paulina. This channel is mostly about beauty, and that includes skincare, makeup and fragrances. Today we're going to talk about another new fragrance release, and this is Marc Jacobs Perfect Elixir. So first up, this is what the bottle looks like. And let me quickly tell you a little bit more about the history of this fragrance. I mean, it's not particularly long, so it's going to be quite quick. So the original Marc Jacobs Perfect was released in 2020, and it was described as oriental floral fragrance. The main accords that people picked up from this fragrance was green, fruity and almond, which I found quite interesting. I did not really get much green in the original fragrance. To me, this was like a very pleasantly made fruity, floral, with a little bit of almond milk that make this fragrance a little bit creamier. I kind of like this fragrance, but definitely not enough to buy a full-size bottle. It was just not really the type of fragrance I would go for normally anyway. The main fruity note here was rhubarb, the main floral note was narcissus, and then we also had this almond milk, cashmere, some woodsy notes. So I think you can pretty much imagine how this would smell. The original fragrance was followed by two more flankers. One of them was Perfect Eau de Toilette, and this was like a proper floral fragrance with quite prominent narcissus again. We did not really have this almond milk there. I personally found it like even less interesting than the original one, so was not even interested in buying it. But the other flanker, Perfect Intense, that's a completely different story. This fragrance was definitely much more floral, less fruity. The main floral accord I picked up were these yellow florals. We had a lot of this almond milk there, some woodsy notes. There were some like white florals there too, but to me this was mostly this tropical yellow floral scent. And this is actually one of my current top 10 fragrances for summer. Love it. One thing I find interesting is that most people find this fragrance to be fruity. Technically there are no fruity notes in there, but I think it was Socky London who said that it smells to her like this ripe banana. And you know what? I kind of get that. Even though this is more like a floral fragrance with some almond milk, it is giving me a little bit of that too. So I think this is where the fruitiness that people can smell comes from. But yeah, I really love that flanker too. So this brings us to our new flanker, Perfect Elixir. This fragrance is actually described as Oriental Vanilla, whereas the previous fragrances were Floral Orientals. The top notes are plum, honey, rhubarb. Middle notes, amber, orange blossom. Base notes, vanilla, resin and patchouli. So how does this fragrance smell? So first of all, I need to mention that this fragrance smells quite similar to my favorite, Elixir Intense. There is definitely a similarity between these two fragrances, which is actually quite interesting because if you were to compare the notes, there's not a single fragrance note that these two perfumes share, which is crazy. Of course, sometimes the fragrance producers are not going to reveal all the notes, they're just going to give us the main notes. So I guess there's more similarity in terms of notes than they show, especially considering the fact that these scents are quite similar. But despite this similarity, they have completely different vibe. So Perfect Intense is this very bright yellow floral summery scent, whereas this one here is this perfect wintry response to the Intense fragrance. So this one is heavier, it's creamier, it's more indulgent. Instead of these bright, a little bit like sharp yellow florals, we have a lot of indulgent honey in it. We have a lot of plum, and I don't know what it is about plum, but it feels like it always makes fragrances a little bit like darker and deeper. And then we also have some added amber, which to me, amber is just this perfect note for like colder weather. And then also the base notes of like patchouli and resin, they complement this fragrance really nicely, but they do not overpower the fragrance. So this is not like a super patchouli heavy fragrance. This patchouli is there, but it's not something that is going to take over the fragrance. So to sum this up, this is a really beautiful, creamy, sweet fragrance. It's not overly sweet though. It's heavy, but it's not one of those kind of like going out, like nighttime fragrances. I think there's actually a really beautiful daytime scent too. The sillage of it is moderate, so I think it's office friendly-ish. And then the lasting power is actually pretty good. So I highly recommend this fragrance, especially if you have the intense version and you really like it and you want to have something that's going to be more winter appropriate. If you haven't tried any of the previous fragrances from this line, I would definitely recommend testing this before trying. If you look at the notes, I think you can imagine how this is going to smell, like, more or less. So there's nothing like super controversial about it. If you think you're going to like it, judging by the notes, I think you should be all right. So this is everything from me today. Have you tried this fragrance before? If so, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you very much for watching. For more fragrance related content, check those videos over here. I'm going to see you very soon. Take care. Bye.